Clark County Today is presented by Cano Real Estate. Hire an agent, get a team. Learn more by visiting canorealestate.com.
Hey everyone, happy Friday. This is Chris Brown and it's your week in review from ClarkCountyToday.com. A spectacle of American encouragement roared through the skies above many local hospitals this morning. Oregon Air National Guard F-15s from the 142nd Wing and the 173rd Fighter Wing did their own version of a social distancing thank you to the men and women on the front lines for the COVID-19 pandemic, waving as they screamed by at 300 plus miles an hour and 1,500 feet high. Clark County Today spent time with a group of socially distanced spectators on the roof of the Peace Health Southwest Medical Center parking garage. Many of the staff and their families came out in support during the flyover. You can watch for the full video of the event soon on our website. Well, that event was part of Nurse Appreciation Week. A local effort has been working closer to the ground to recognize these frontline heroes. Here's Jacob Graneman with more.
Thanks, Chris. So this story is really incredible, and as you can see behind me, there's these signs saying that heroes work here, and they're at hospitals all over the place. The idea started when someone here at Peace Health heard about a hospital doing a similar thing in Texas, and that's when Image 360 and Shauna Stong stepped in to start giving these signs to hospitals. It's been a really interesting journey for her. Obviously, with the sign company, things have changed dramatically with COVID-19 signage becoming more and more popular, but to her, she said the most rewarding element has been these signs and signs for graduating seniors.
Thanks so much, Jacob. As of today, there have been 375 confirmed cases of COVID-19 in Clark County with 23 deaths. There was only one new confirmed case since yesterday, but another case was removed from the count after it was determined that person lived outside the county. The number of confirmed cases in Clark County hospitals rose slightly since Thursday, up to 10, with 3 people in intensive care. During a special meeting held over Zoom on Thursday, the City Council of Battleground unanimously approved sending a letter to Governor Inslee. The message: let us figure out how best to let our own businesses reopen safely. That letter, written by Mayor Adrian Cortez, warns that many local businesses are within weeks of going under if they aren't allowed to reopen in some way soon. The council said they hope other cities and counties send their own letters to the governor, urging him to send guidelines to individual cities and let them decide when it's safe to reopen. Battleground's decision comes a few days after Clark County Representative Brandon Vick, a Republican, joined 6 other lawmakers in suing the governor over the ongoing shutdown. In an interview with Clark County Today, Vick expressed his frustration with what he believed was a lack of effort on the governor's part to listen to lawmakers and business leaders. Vick was a member of a legislative task force that met with the governor a handful of times and then was disbanded with little of their feedback implemented during the 4-phased reopening approach. The state Democratic Party called the move by Vick and his fellow Republicans another irresponsible attack that jeopardizes the sacrifices so many Washingtonians have made. On Wednesday, we learned the 152nd annual Clark County Fair would not be happening this year. The fair, which attracts as many as 280,000 visitors each year, released a statement indicating they were unable to continue with preparations due to the pandemic. The fair said that, while disappointed in the cancellation of this year's event, they were already looking ahead to 2021. This week, Vancouver City Council heard more details about the impact of the ongoing crisis on their bottom line. City Manager Eric Holmes outlined plans to make $45 million in budget cuts for the remainder of this year. $15 million will come from reserve funds, $17 million through the suspension of transfers, and another $13 million from departmental reductions. Already 60 city employees are on full furlough, and an additional 30% of the city's workforce will take a partial furlough of 10 days or a wage reduction now through the end of the year, and more may be coming. The council also decided to delay the long-awaited Columbia Street Bike Lanes project for another year. The Clark County Council took action on Wednesday to temporarily allow property owners to let someone live in recreational vehicles on private property. That decision was largely to allow for people to use an RV if they need to quarantine or self-isolate. A permit is required and there are other restrictions. The RV must be connected to water and sewer as well as electricity. Any permit to allow an occupied RV would expire 30 days after the county's emergency declaration ends, which would happen by a vote of the council at a future meeting. The Council also approved a change to rules around marijuana facilities, temporarily removing a restriction that kept marijuana retailers from opening within 500 feet of a substance abuse treatment program. That move, which will last at least 60 days, was largely to clear the way for one business, Orchard's Cannabis Market, to open near SR 500 and 4th Plain. Lauren Carlson, who also owns Cannabis Country and Battleground, said a nearby CMAR treatment program had been moved to another location, but miscommunications with the county's permitting department made getting the business open difficult. The council expects to come back and revisit the rules sometime later this summer. Well, high school seniors in Battleground showed up on Friday morning to pick up their cap and gown, but it was obviously different than normal years. This year they drove through as teachers and school staff held signs, cheered and waved. Several students had tears in their eyes, and teachers expressed their emotion at not being able to hug or high-five their students as they head off to the next adventure. The district is working to put together a virtual celebration for graduates and still exploring the possibility of in-person celebrations in the future. Diplomas will be ready in June. Speaking of graduation, Vancouver Public Schools announced this week they are planning to hold in-person graduations in mid-August or early September, depending on which phase of reopening we're in by then. The events will be live streamed for friends and family to watch, but only students and staff can attend. Between now and then, the district plans other virtual events for student awards, and plans to allow them to pick up their diplomas, cap and gown are being finalized. Let's head over to Paul Valencia now for a quick check of the week in sports.
The game of golf has returned to Washington. Golfers don't need to worry about winter rules nor summer rules. Instead, they must adhere to social distancing rules. But yes, golf is back. Camas Meadows and Tri Mountain were among the golf courses to reopen this week. The courses have all the information on the new rules concerning golf during the pandemic. Oh, and call or go online ahead of time. Tee times were full earlier this week. And we also highlighted the Columbia River boys soccer team. Actually, it was our way of saluting all high school spring sports athletes. About this time every year, they are usually starting the postseason. Well, we know that's not happening this year. We focus mostly on Columbia River soccer, though, because that team was loaded, the team to beat in the state of Washington. To all spring sports athletes, though, we salute you.
Thanks, Paul. And earlier this week, Paul also talked with Mikkel Anthony. She's a multi-sport star at Skyview High School who showed her maturity in giving up a softball scholarship to UNLV. Mikkel sat down with Paul to bravely explain why she made that difficult decision.
I'm Mikkel Anthony, and I recently have given up a full-ride scholarship to play softball at UNLV, and here's a little bit of reasons why. As I was going through the process of going to go to college, I felt anxiety towards it, and if anyone else is in that position of feeling anxious, just know that the choice is in your hands, and you don't always have to go with what everyone else says, and no matter how much people say or whatever or think, you can do what you need to do and what makes you happy and what makes you feel good. This fall, I will be attending at WSU Pullman, and I will be studying sports broadcasting. Playing softball at Skyview High School has been an amazing experience. My mom has coached me there for the past 3 years, and I'm glad that my last year playing at Skyview, we got to go to state, and it was just an awesome experience.
That's a great story and important for folks to see. You can see the rest of Mikkel's interview with Paul and read the full story at clarkcountytoday.com. And that's your recap of just a few of the stories you'll find this week at clarkcountytoday.com. Be sure to like us on Facebook. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram as well to see when stories are posted and be part of the conversation about what's happening in your community. You can also send story ideas and feedback to us via email, news@clarkcountytoday.com if you're into that form of communication. For all of us, I'm Chris Brown. Stay safe. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you next week.